Have you ever avoided having a difficult conversation that you know you need to have, but the thought of just having it was so overwhelming that you decided not to do it? I'm pretty sure we all have, right? People do it all the time. I do it as well. Well, in this video, I'm gonna give you a framework to have those difficult conversations and hopefully not just have them, but to look forward to having them so that you can build connection in your relationships. Hi, my name's Ryan, and this is the channel for the modern athlete, where we give you tools and strategies so that you can be successful on and off the field, pitch, court, rink, and wherever else you compete in your life. So in the last video, we talked about giving empathy, receiving empathy, and how important creating connection and healthy relationships are in your life. In this video, we're gonna go into what I think could be a series all in itself, but how to have these difficult conversations. These difficult conversations are important because you don't want to, anytime you get in an argument with someone, just push them away from your life, or be quiet, swallow it, and have that wedge that just drives in there, and then out comes maybe some passive aggressive tendencies, right? There's a difference when you're on teams and you're willing to go that extra effort for, what you consider your brothers on that team, and then teams that just don't have that same cohesiveness, right? So these conversations are important for, athletic settings, competition settings, as well as they are for your life to build healthy relationships. So let's get into it. All right, so anytime you're gonna have this difficult relationship, we're gonna go through what Dr. Bigby calls the NVC dance floor. So this type of relationship involves 4 steps. The first step is observation. Okay, so what is an observation? Observation is something that is 100% factual, that can't be argued with. So an example would be, when I hear you tell me that you're gonna pick me up at 7 and you don't get here till 7:30, it ... We'll go on to the next step here in a second, right? That can't be argued with factually. I heard you say 7, you got here at 7:30, right? Those are factual information versus where a lot of the pitfalls are in this are people use what we call judgments. So instead of saying, I heard you say you were coming at 7 and you arrived at 7:30, you say, when you're late. Okay, well, the person can come back with, I wasn't late. And then you have that conversation. You were late. You said 7, you got here at 7:30, right? So we want to skip having those side conversations, right? And stick with observations. And that's a pretty simple judgment, right? Other judgments can be like, you're always late. Or, anytime there is like an absolute, like you're never, you're always. That 99.9% of the time is a judgment. So we want to stick to observations, okay? So that's step 1, observation. Step 2 are feelings. So when I hear you say you're going to be here at 7, when I think you're going to be here at 7, and you arrive at 7:30, it makes me feel, and we use this feeling sheet, right? This is, when we're learning like this, we keep it like very strict to this sequencing, and it's kind of robotic, but it gives you the feel for it, right? It's just like when you're learning a new skill or a sport, like you stick to the fundamentals at the beginning and then you start adding things to it. So that's what we're doing in this situation. So use the feeling sheet and go down it. Makes me feel annoyed, lonely, sad, frustrated, right? Pick one, say it. Now, there are what we call false feelings, right? That's if you were to say, I feel disrespected. When I hear that you're gonna be here at 7 and you get here at 7:30, I feel disrespected. Disrespected is not a feeling. That is a judgment hidden as a feeling. I feel like you're mean. Again, judgment, right? Not a feeling. So when you use those false feelings, they're thoughts and judgments hidden in there as feelings. Okay, and step 3 are, again, looking at that sheet and identifying your needs in this situation. And it could be your needs, it could be their needs as well. In this situation, when we're saying, you know, when I hear you say you're going to be here at 7 and you arrive at 7:30, it makes me feel frustrated, annoyed, sad, lonely, and it's around my need for X. And there's different ways, right? I like to keep it to the fundamentals in saying morning and celebrating, but sometimes when you're talking to someone that's not familiar with this framework, they're like, what the heck does morning or celebrating mean, right? So let's try a more natural and conversation type use of words, right? So when I hear you say you're going to be here at 7 and you arrive at 7:30, it makes me feel alone, frustrated, annoyed, and it's around my need for communication. I feel like there was a lack. See, I'm still learning. I just did it too. That's a thought masqueraded as a judgment, right? I feel like. So instead of saying I feel like, I need. It's around my need for more communication. I need more communication. So that's needs. Then you go into requests. Next time, would you please text me or call me if you know you're going to be later than what we agreed on? And so this is what we call a request. There's two types of things: action requests and connective requests. Connective requests were kind of what we talked about were what we talked about in the last episode, where you're like, would you like me to respond to that? Or what are you hearing me say? You can go, you know, once you say that, if they look perplexed or, you know, they're trying to figure out, what are you hearing me? Would you mind? I just want to make sure we're on the same page. Would you mind recounting back to me what you heard me say? That's a connection request. An action request is what we just did. Hey, next time you're late, would you mind texting me or calling me and let me know that you are running late, or that you're going to be there after the time that you said you're going to be here. I'm trying to be objective as possible. Just observations here. So one thing we want to avoid in this situation are demands. We don't want to demand them to do something. Next time you're late, tell me. That's a demand. You can identify demands because any time that the other person's needs are not perceived as equal as yours. Anytime the person might do the demand out of fear, guilt, shame, something that's not a healthy response, opposed to requests. Requests, one, can be said no to, right? Demands can be said no to, but they're not framed as a question. Requests can be said no to, and you have perceived the other person's needs equally so that when they say no, it may bother you, but you'll respect it. Other characteristics that a request has are being specific. Next time, when you think you're going to be later than we discussed, please text me. Very specific. The next time, that's one criteria. When you're going to be later than we discussed, that's the second criteria. Third is text me or call me or whatever. Very specific. They're positive. So you're not saying stop being late or next time don't come get me. You could rephrase that to say, next time if you're late, let me know and I'll ride with someone else. But you want to keep it in a positive light. Third, they're doable. This kind of goes with specific, but they're doable, right? Like, can that person text you next time they think they're going to be later than you agreed upon? Yeah, it's doable, right? Now, will you never be late? Can you never be late again? Not so doable, right? Things are going to happen. Traffic happens. Late meetings happen. Not so doable. And then, of course, I also want to reiterate, they can be said no to, right? You may not like it. And so this is where a big part, this is where the whole dance floor comes in, right? When you say this, right? When you go to somebody, hey, I heard you say you're going to be here at 7. You're here at 7:30. And when that happens, it makes, when you're later than what I heard you say, that makes me feel frustrated, annoyed, alone, sad, etc. And it's around my need for communication. next time when you think you're going to be later than what we talked about, can you please text or call me, right? Very healthy way of presenting that, but it might trigger the other person, or they might not have a healthy respect. Oh, I wasn't late, and I've been so frustrated and so overwhelmed at work, and can't you just give me a break, right? There's tons of, you can probably picture right now as we're going through this, certain conversations, the way certain people react when you give them requests, or you may think they're going to react when you give them requests. So if that happens, you have two options. First, that's why it's called a dance floor. You can move back, and you could reiterate certain steps. Maybe you could make another request. Okay, I hear that you're frustrated right now. It seems like, are you frustrated right now? That's a request, right? Or can you repeat back? It seems like you're frustrated. I'm hearing frustration, and could you repeat back to me what you heard me say? Maybe they repeat back to it, and it's something that's completely different than what you were getting to. And then you go that way, right? Oh, so it sounds like you're overwhelmed at work. You have some empathy for the other person as well. And all I'm asking is, I understand that. All I'm asking is, do you think next time, I hear that you're overwhelmed, and do you think next time you could just let me know if you're running late, just a text, whatever, right? Or they may come at you, and you might have a rocky relationship with the person, or something might happen where it triggers you, and you want to respond in unhealthy fashion, right? You want to go right back at them, or put them down, or use a judgment. I mean, I've been there plenty of times in my life. This is where, when you're triggered, it's best to wait. All right. Dr. Bigby uses the acronyms, what am I thinking and why am I talking, which gives you the right feel. It's just best to wait. What am I thinking? Like, I want to go at this person. I'm pissed off right now, or I just want to shut down. I'm just so triggered, right? I'm so annoyed right now. It's best. That's not the best time to have those talks. So again, connecting request. Hey, I don't think we're really see, I love to use that. I feel like you can see how easy it is to go into those false feelings. I don't think we're really, making progress on this right now. So I'd like to take some time to think about this, cool off a little, and can we talk about it at a later date, or tomorrow, or X, right? That's again another request. Make a request. Give yourself some time to cool off, to think about it, to change your mindset. Okay, so you have the 4 steps, right? And it's a dance floor. You can move in and out of them, okay? You have observation, you have feelings, you have needs, and you have requests. Simple as that. 4 simple steps that you want to weave in and out. And if you get triggered in another conversation, put out that request to talk about it another time, to give some time for both of you guys to think about it. All right, so there you have it. Again, you have the NVC framework, you have the dance floor to have these conversations. And if you haven't watched the first video on this, I think you'll really enjoy that. So go ahead and do that now.